Hi, Ed here from keywordspeopleuse.com, and I've got an exclusive time-limited offer for you. If you book a product demo with Keywords People Use, I'll give you a free 7-day trial of our standard plan, which allows you access to our new content optimization tool. This tool hooks into your Google Search Console data so we can find all the keywords you're ranking for and what pages are ranking. We then crawl your site content and use advanced machine learning techniques like embeddings and cosine similarity to find you content optimization opportunities that will quickly boost your impressions and clicks from Google. This new feature in Keywords People Use is already showing results for people using it. Don't miss out on the opportunity of a 7-day free trial. Just go to keywordspeopleuse.com/demo to book your slot. That's keywordspeopleuse.com/demo. You'll find the link in the show notes of this episode. Hi, Ed Dawson here. And as I'm a bit busy at the moment and need a break, welcome to another one of my Best of SEO is Not That Hard podcasts. These are the episodes from the back catalogue that I think have the greatest hits and ones that are still relevant and provide great value for you. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome to SEO is Not That Hard. I'm your host, Ed Dawson, the founder of keywordspeopleuse.com, the place to find and organise the questions people ask online. I'm an SEO, developer, affiliate marketer and entrepreneur. I've been building and monetizing websites for over 20 years, and I've bought and sold a few along the way. I'm here to share with you the SEO knowledge, hints and tips I've built up over the years. Hello and welcome back to SEO is Not That Hard. It's me here, Ed Dawson, as usual. And today I'm going to be talking about the Google Knowledge Graph, what it is, where it's applicable. Plus, I'm also going to give you a free tool which will help you explore it. It's not my tool, it's nothing to do with me, but it's a good, great free tool to use to explore it, and I'll let you know about that later on in the episode. To start off with, what exactly is Google Knowledge Graph? So, well, it's Google's system for understanding and connecting information, and they launched it in 2012. And the Knowledge Graph, it goes beyond traditional sort of keyword matching to actually interpret and understand the relationships between different entities like people, places, and things. So, for example, I'm just back from holiday. Me and the family spent just over a week in Italy, and one of the cities we visited was Venice. And when we went to Venice, one of the first things we wanted to do was go to find the library, which is actually set in a church, but the library from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where they go in, find where X marks the spot, and go down to the catacombs. If you know that film, you'll know exactly where I mean. There's a big library, and every time he's bashing the floor, the librarian's stamping a book, and it's very funny, but it's a beautiful location. And we went there, and actually it's an old church. It's not actually a library. And at the moment, it's got a Leonardo da Vinci exhibition in it, which we went to, which was fantastic. But after that, I was looking up, wanted to, sort of get more information on Leonardo da Vinci and sort of learn more about some of the things we've seen in the museum. And, when I went to Google to search for it, Leonardo da Vinci was one of the searches that triggers the Google Knowledge Graph. So, because when you search for Leonardo da Vinci, you don't just get a list of links. You'll actually get a knowledge panel depending on which device you're using to view it. You'll get the knowledge panel be in different places, but you get knowledge panel with like summaries of famous works, connections to other historical figures, summary of who he was, all these kind of things. And this is all powered by the Knowledge Graph. So the Knowledge Graph sort of works by sort of turning complex information into structured data, essentially. So it connects millions of facts about entities across various subjects, aiming to understand the context and the meaning between them. And it's designed to help Google answer questions directly and provide quick, sort of relevant information rather than just having to list pages where the keywords appear. So that's what it is. So why was it created? Well, the primary reason was to improve their search relevance and user experience, essentially. It goes back to that kind of like zero-click search, essentially. But the Knowledge Graph enables Google to understand queries in a more kind of human way, I suppose. Sort of instead of seeing words as isolated terms, Google begins to understand them as concepts connected to like within a larger web. And this was a huge leap forward at the time, because it allowed Google to make associations and understand relationships. So if you search for Apple, for example, Google can discern from the context of your search whether you mean the fruit, the technology company, or even the record label, the famous record label that the Beatles published all their stuff on was Apple Records. So how does it work? How does the Knowledge Graph work? Well, Now, at its core, it's a database of entities. So these are specific people, places, and things, and each with its own attributes and relationships with other entities. So, for example, like a person's entity might include things like their date of birth, their profession, notable works they've done, relationships with other entities, like family members or people that they've worked with or collaborated with, or like actors that have collaborated on films with other actors or directors, things like that. Google gathers this information from lots of sources that it deems reliable, like Wikipedia and Wikidata and sort of other verified databases like Internet Movie Database, I believe, as well. And as well as just gathering that, it cross-references it. So the more times it finds the same information that matches to each other, it kind of strengthens that sort of validation of that information, and it deems it as being more accurate. So it tries to sort of filter out inaccurate information by having that cross-referencing. And obviously, when you enter a search query, so Google's artificial intelligence sort of scans the relationships to present information that best matches the context of your search. So, for example, if you're searching for, say, Will Smith, who's an actor and a musician, if you include Will Smith and say the name of a film or the name of another actor, then it's going to present you information about Will Smith that's more focused around his acting career. Whereas if you sort of searching for Will Smith around any kind of music terms, it's going to give you more knowledge panel information based around the his music career, for example. So let's look at like a real world example. So let's look at, say, let's search someone famous that everybody knows, like Albert Einstein. So the knowledge panel graph, it shows a panel with his birth and death date, notable contributions, and relevant images. So when we're searching for a location, for example, such as, say, the Eiffel Tower, you're going to get, like, its location, its height, images of it, links to related landmarks that are nearby, helping you sort of navigate to other points of interest that might be around there. So if you're planning a visit to the Eiffel Tower, it might also suggest other places around there that you can go to. Say we search for a film, say Inception, you're going to get details about the director, the cast, a synopsis, and even other related films to it. So, you'll have used this, you'll have found it useful. It might be frustrating if you're a site owner, but as a user, you'll have used this before. You'll have searched for things and you'll have got the information straight away from the knowledge panel. How does this information now we've got about the knowledge panel and the knowledge graph, how does that sort of impact your SEO and content strategy? So it's important to realize that Google values structured data and entities that have a high degree of sort of accuracy and relevancy. So this means that you should really be focused on creating authoritative, well-linked content around key entities that are relevant to your site, your business. And if you do this and establish your content as an authority on a topic, you improve your chances of being featured in that knowledge panel in the answer boxes. So, for example, you're a business focused on, say, eco-friendly products. If you create structured, in-depth content about sustainability topics, then you can start to position yourself and your brand as an authority in that topic area. And the more accurate and well-cited that content is, the more Google is going to be likely to recognize you as a reliable source of information and get you in that knowledge panel. Now, that knowledge panel, because it's zero, a lot of it will be zero-click, but as I spoke about in an earlier episode about zero-click strategy, it's important to start appearing in the zero-click places where people might not click to you, but they'll see you and they'll see your brand mentioned, and you'll become more of a go-to brand for those people. So don't worry about it being zero-click. This is about brand relevance and building brand. So some tips for optimizing for the knowledge graph are, first of all, start with structured data. So this is like schema.org data. So this is machine readable data that you mark up your content with, which helps search understand the content of the page and the content of your data, what it's about. And there are special markup schemes for things like products, events, local business information. Go to schema.org. I've done previous episodes on schema.org. That's the thing you need to be looking at, because Google trusts and understands that structured data, and that kind of structured data will really help you towards being optimized for the knowledge panel. And next, consistency. So I said before, the more times Google sees information that matches each other, the more it's going to trust that information and then start to include it in the knowledge graph. So, for example, take Leonardo da Vinci. It's found his date of birth mentioned in multiple places across the web, and they all match, and it will use that as the authority. It now decides that is authoritative. That is data we can use in the knowledge panel because it is cited reliably and consistently across the web. And finally, if you can get into Wikipedia, one of those, those sources which Google really takes credibility from, so that's Wikipedia or Wikidata. Now, this is a big ask, and you can't just create that for yourself. You've got to be of a certain size, so it's going to be really tricky if you're not a major brand or a well-known personality. Other options are to try and get into Internet Movie Database if you can. There are various ways of doing that. You can get in, for example, if you're a podcast host, or if you've authored a book that has got onto Amazon, if you self-authored it. So there are ways around this, but this one is a trickier one to get into those knowledge panels. It depends on where you're coming from. If you're working for a big brand, and you're fine, easy, you're going to be able to get this into those kind of sort of places easily. If not, then it's going to be trickier. So, good luck with that. Now, I did promise you a tool so that you can explore the knowledge graph in a way that, other than just using sort of Google itself to do searches things, you can actually explore the knowledge graph by, for example, if you put in Albert Einstein and look for a person, then into this tool, it will find you research results around Albert Einstein and all the different sources and places where that data is coming from. Now, this is a tool that was created by a guy called Carl Hendy, who's a friend of the podcast, and his website is at audits.com. And I'll put this link in the show notes, but you can just Google Carl Hendy Google Knowledge Graph tool. That will bring it up number one, or you can type in audits.com/tools/knowledge-graph-search. So that's audits.com/tools/knowledge/graph, and you'll get it there, but I'll put a link to it in the show notes. Also, if you're really techie and you are used to working with APIs, Google actually debuted a Google Knowledge Graph search API where you can search and interrogate the knowledge graph through their API. Just Google it if you're interested in doing that. You'll find the information about that and where you go with it. So anyway, hope you found that useful today. And if you've got any questions, comments or anything, just do get in touch. Love to hear from people. And until next time, I'll see you later. Before I go, I just wanted to let you know that if you'd like a personal demo of our tools at Keywords People Use, that you can book a free, no obligation, one-on-one video call with me, where I show you how we can help you level up your content by finding and answering the questions your audience actually have. You can also ask me any SEO questions you have. You just need to go to keywordspeopleuse.com/demo, where you can pick a time and date that suits you for us to catch up. Once again, that's keywordspeopleuse.com/demo, and you can also find that link in the show notes of today's episode. Hope to chat with you soon. Thanks for being a listener. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe and share. It really helps. SEO is not that hard. It's brought to you by keywordspeopleuse.com. The place to find and organise the questions people ask online. See why thousands of people use us every day. Try it today for free at keywordspeopleuse.com. To get an instant hit of more SEO tips, then find the link to download a free copy of my 101 quick SEO tips in the show notes of today's episode. If you want to get in touch, have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. I'm at Channel 5 on Twitter. You can email me at podcast@keywordspeopleuse.com. Bye for now, and see you in the next episode of SEO is Not That Hard.